Alright my China plates, today we're diving into the bizarre world of PC gaming, the land of simulators. Now let's be honest, most simulator games are a load of old crap, featuring janky graphics, terrible sound, and have a stink of shovelware about them. But hold your horses, because there are a few gems in this pile of cheap shit. So the Cockney Gamer's done all the dirty work for you, and we're serving up the top 14 quirkiest yet surprisingly entertaining simulator games that money can buy. So put the kettle on, grab yourself a cuppa, and let's get proper weird in today's video. Kicking off our list at number 14 is Prison Simulator. Now in this little gem, you're the big cheese in a prison going full Shawshank reversal, where your job is to keep the unruly bunch of inmates in line. As a guard, you'll be dealing with all sorts of nonsense, breaking out fights, hunting down contraband, doing roll calls, and having a jolly good old time sorting out prison riots or sending poor sods to the electric chair. There's also a story to keep things spicy, but the real kicker is the personalities of the inmates. Each one has their own little trait, some being more of a twat than others. The game even lets you be a bit naughty yourself, which spices up your relationship with said inmates. Yeah, it has its clunky moments. It at times feels like it's been put together with sticky tape, and progression can be slower than your nan reversing into a parking spot. But there's a cracking idea at its core, and for the most part, it's a bloody good laugh. The best part though, if you hunt this down during a sale, it can be had for as little as $10. So well worth a gander at that price. Well, ain't this a right laugh? 2 games in, and we've got another cop wannabe game. Coming in at number 13, it's Police Simulator Patrol Officers, winning the prize for the most convoluted name on our list. This one takes itself a bit more seriously than Prison Simulator. Here you get to be a proper dishing out parking tickets like a true job's worth, pulling people over for doing 3 miles an hour over the speed limit, and arresting people full American style for any misdemeanor that you see fit. Realism is everything here. Unlike our dear American cousins though, the police here can't go shooting innocents without consequence. The game tells you that's a no-no and cuts to black. In fact, shootouts and more action-orientated tasks are missing, so the boredom and repetition can rear its ugly head after a few hours of play. Another issue is that it still feels a bit rough around the edges with some odd graphical quirks, but of all the cop style simulators out there, this one does its best to actually make you feel like a proper Bobby on the beat. It takes itself way more seriously than other simulator games. Some of the most entertaining times I had were during the questioning of suspects, where you'll be cross-referencing the information that people give to you, things like their driving license, insurance, or checking their ID in the database. It's here where the cop simulator vibe really shows its meat, and yes, that's what she said, and why it has made it onto our list. Now there's a weird meta experience to be had when you're sitting on your ass playing a game about sitting on your ass mowing the lawn. At number 12 we've got Lawn Mowing Simulator. This one's got you spending literal hours cutting grass like your life depends on it. But of all the games here, this one has arguably got the most ASMR feel to it. Maybe your missus is nagging you to take the rubbish bin out, or your stinky kids need a bath. Perhaps you're dreading going to work tomorrow to deal with your twatty faced boss. Well, fear not, because Lawn Mowing Simulator is the perfect copium to zone out and let your worries wash over you. There's a bit of a progression path to keep things intriguing too, with bigger and better mowers to unlock for your little company. Unbelievably, there's also some challenge involved. You'll have debris scattered throughout the lawns, and you'll need to master intricate cornering and finishing of edges. Of all the games on our list, this might be the quickest one that you'll get bored of though, but you can pick up the base game and 2 DLCs for just $8 in the Steam Summer Sale. So in all honesty, it's a no-brainer when you're looking for something with a different pace to all the other madness that exists out there. Jesus on a stick, not another bloody police game, Reggie, but hold your horses, because this one's got a bit of a twist. Coming in at number 11, Contraband Police puts you in the role of a checkpoint guard in some dodgy communist country from the 80s. You'll be rifling through people's documents, tearing open car seats to find stashes of cocaine. Yummy! And before you know it, you'll be the biggest snitch in town. If you liked Papers, Please, this is probably the closest and most accurate 3D remake of that game. You really need to have your eyes peeled to catch the would-be criminals trying to cross the border, and just like Papers, Please, you'll face dilemmas where the black and white rules of communism clash with your own moral compass. But don't go thinking this whole game is just based at one checkpoint. You'll be making deliveries to other checkpoints, and without giving too much away here, there's a story where things can really really kick off. And don't just take my word for it, this one's got an overwhelming rating on Steam with over 14,000 reviews. If I had to just pick one police style simulator, this one's probably the most interesting and entertaining to play. Next up, we've got a game where you can act out some fantastical and downright unbelievable scenes. That of a construction worker doing a job both quickly and to a high standard. At number 10, it's Construction Simulator. This one actually surprised me with its polish, its challenge, and indeed its variety. There's a ton of different vehicles to manage here, and each job is unique with a town that changes and grows as you tackle projects. What's more, you get to play this one online in co-op mode, so if you fancy the ultimate realistic experience, you can perch up in your vehicle and just leer at the females walking past as you and the boys sit back doing sod all. One of the more surprising aspects is its graphical quality. It's never going to win awards for artistic direction, but given how so many simulator games feel like they were drawn by toddlers, the vehicle models, the lighting, and the way materials feel and apply themselves all come together to create a highly believable world. Because of this, it scrapes into our top 10. Coming in at number 9, we've chosen the sequel to the big indie hit Car Mechanic Simulator. The 2021 version is the most polished and fully realised of the series. Even if you have zero knowledge of the internals of a car, after a few hours you'll be pulling apart engines, rebuilding them, taking them for a test drive, and then charging enormous amounts to unsuspecting mugs. Absolute realism there. Jokes aside though, spend some time with this and you'll definitely learn something that you didn't know before, and for me, that is what every simulator should offer if it's to be taken seriously. There's a long progression system here too, which will take many hours to unlock with new skills, items, and even your home garage seeing big additions. One of the most interesting parts is going to a junkyard, picking out a total beater, and then slowly but surely rebuilding the whole thing from scratch until you get a full-on Margot Robbie beauty of a vehicle. It's these long-term projects that give Car Mechanic Simulator its addictiveness, and with plenty of DLC featuring fully licensed vehicles, you're sure to find something here to scratch that auto head itch. One final point here is that the game looks very nice indeed. When talking about the beauty of cars, it's imperative that they look the part, and the high fidelity models and lighting make this one of the best looking simulator games of recent memory. Even if you aren't a massive simulator fan, this is one I'd recommend adding to your library. Hot on the heels of building cars, we come to another mega hit where you get to build the PC of your wet dreams. Coming in at number 8, it's PC Building Simulator. Here you own a little business and take orders for replacing PC parts, ordering new ones, sending off the old crap, and getting people's pawn machines up and running again. The best part comes later in the game when you're given PCs to fix and the user goes full mum mode on you as they haven't got a bloody clue what's wrong with it. So it's your detective skills that need to come up as you'll be doing all sorts of trial and error, swapping out RAM, changing PSUs, or replacing motherboards, only to find out all it needed was a dab of thermal paste. We've all been there, haven't we? There are loads of PC component makers on board too, making this game highly authentic, along with benchmarking tools to see your works of art come to life. Now, I will say the first game in the series is probably the one to go for. The second game didn't really change enough things for me, plus it's locked into the Epic Store and of course is a whole lot more expensive. The first game, however, can be found in sales for less than $5, which at that price feels like daylight robbery given the hours you'll be putting into it. So if you fancy yourself as a bit of a Geek Squad wannabe, you can't really go wrong here. Coming in at number 7, we've got a game from a crowded genre, Bus Simulator 18. Now, there are quite a few bus simulator games out there, and we've even done a video on what we felt was the best of the bunch, but for newcomers and those on a budget, you really can't go wrong with Bus Sim 18. Here you get to stare down pensioners, giving them the wrong change, and drive past poor sods waiting in the pissing rain. You get to holler at passengers for blasting their music too loud, and the best bit, rocking up late to your stop and ruining everyone's morning. The realism is off the charts, lads, but whilst you could be a right twat, it won't get you too far. You'll rack up more experience and cash by doing things the proper way. Your driving skills will be put to the test, dodging potholes, using your indicators like a pro, and making sure you're punctual. Over time, you'll be building a full-blown bus empire, hiring drivers, creating routes, and having a proper laugh while you're at it. What Bus Sim 18 does so well is that it genuinely makes you feel like a bus driver, from going to the depot and getting your bus ready for the day to dealing with different weather and day cycles. It's all there. Hook up a steering wheel and you've got yourself the nerdiest of nerdy games where others watching you will just shake their head in disbelief and ask how on earth you ever got laid. Just missing out on our top 5 is the Farming Simulator franchise. Now the 2022 edition is probably the one to go for, but even the 2019 edition has plenty of meat on the bone. Yes. Think of it as lawn mowing simulator on steroids. You're managing crops, driving all sorts of fancy tractors and tackling a massive map that's more complex than a redneck's family tree. One gripe you might have with Farming Simulator is that as you dig deeper, things get more detailed and convoluted. So if you don't have the patience for all the fiddly bits, you might want to give it a miss, but let me tell you, there's a whole lot of authenticity here. The big brands are falling over themselves to be part of this game, throwing in more vehicles and attachments than you can shake a stick at. If you stick with it, the latter part of the game is hugely rewarding. Your money starts rolling in and before you know it, you've got a farming empire at your fingertips that Foster's Farm would be envious of. I'm holding out hope for an abattoir DLC, of course, but something tells me that's a separate simulator game somewhere else. Until then, grab a mate and play this one in co-op for extra laughs, or better still, check out the bizarre world of Farming Simulator esports on YouTube. It's all rather bonkers. So here we are in the coveted top 5, and we've got BeamNG Drive, a game designed for those who watch NASCAR or Formula 1 and secretly hope for a cheeky little crash to spice things up. Admit it, we've all been there. Well, wish no more, because BeamNG Drive simulates crashes so perfectly that watching these things smash up over and over again never gets old. BeamNG Drive is more of a sandbox game than an actual racer. You can mess about and make your own games, and the modding scene is absolutely top notch with endless scenarios, maps and challenges for you to get jiggy with. Want to play cops and robbers with spectacular crashes? No problem. Want to see what speed bumps do to a vehicle at various speeds? Piece of cake. Want to crash that bus into a truck and watch the carnage unfold? Sign me up, lads. You see, BeamNG gives you the tools and creative canvas to simulate the workings and mechanics of different vehicles, but it's the community that brings in the fun. It's a game I can't recommend enough, but I get it. It's probably the most difficult game on here to pin down on our list in terms of explaining what it actually is. So all I can say is trust old Reggie on this one and take a punt, and if that doesn't fill you with confidence, trust the almost 250,000 reviews on Steam where the game sits at an overwhelmingly positive rating. Now, I wish I could pin down exactly why this game rates so highly on our list. On paper, it should be a massive pile of crap. It's not like it has amazing graphics, it's not like it does anything new to the simulator genre that you haven't seen before, but for some reason, Gas Station Simulator will have you hooked. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd say the reason this keeps me coming back is its charm. You start out as a nobody with a dodgy uncle loaning you an abandoned death trap of a gas station that 7-Eleven would be proud of. You'll be cleaning the shitters, painting walls, sweeping floors, filling gas up for lazy fucks, fixing up cars and even breaking into people's vehicles for extra dosh. There's so much going on here that it's difficult to put it all in this short snippet. The charm though revolves around its jankiness. You'll be frantically running different parts of your gas station, like chucking out trash or accepting a delivery of goods, when suddenly a bus full of jacked up ravers shows up, cleaning out your stock. And when traffic almost bugs out, you can get your little trusty broom out to mop away cars and watch them hilariously fly off into the sky. And if things go completely tits up and the traffic effectively breaks your station, simply hit a button to see a UFO come down and go full Riley Reid, sucking up the offending motorists. The DLC is decent enough too, giving you absolutely hours of fun as you unpack the absurdity that is Gas Station Simulator. This game has become a meme in itself, where girlfriends the world over record their fellas playing a game about washing dirty pathways as they ponder why their sex life has taken a nosedive. Power Wash Simulator then is arguably the strangest game on the list, but also one of the most comforting. I've spent hours upon hours cleaning up a park of muck while watching a YouTube video in the background or listening to a Spotify playlist, and that's not because the game is boring, but rather it's a zen game, the ultimate in making your mind go numb hum of all other thoughts as you just methodically and precisely clear away dirt. If you suffer from OCD, this might just be the game for you, but if you find yourself getting frustrated easily, then steer clear, my Padawans, as you'll be pulling your hair out trying to find that last speck of dirt to clean up sections of a map. And speaking of which, there are countless sections to clean: railings, benches, wooden slats, windows, you name it, it's all there. As you progress further in your career, you'll unlock further little nozzle attachments to unload your foamy stuff, ho hum. And brilliantly, this also offers 4-player co-op mode, with some of the maps taking an age to clean properly. If you want to just catch up with mates and have a natter, why not do it on Discord whilst playing this in the background? I'd argue the licensed DLC is a bit overpriced for what it is, but the base game offers plenty. As harmless, benign and insanely addictive games go, Power Wash Simulator is hard to beat. So here we are, the penultimate simulator game on the list, and honestly, no matter what games you're into or games you think you're not into, American Truck Simulator needs to be on everyone's list. The crazy part is this game goes on sale for a measly $3. You start out as a nobody looking for work, setting up your trucking company. Eventually, you'll get the funds to buy bigger and better trucks, leveling your character to take on more dangerous jobs over longer distances, where your concentration skills, they are tested to the limits. But what makes American Truck Simulator stand out is the sheer level of support that developers continue to show it to this day. We've got VR in beta, controller support, Tobii eye tracker and wheel support. While the base game is plenty to get you started with a few states available, sooner or later you'll be itching to buy the expansions consisting of entire new states to build up your America. And the best bit is that all of these are at a reasonable price. I can't lie, lads, when the Steam sale hits, I add as much DLC as I can to expand my game further. My hope then is that one day we'll see all 50 states in the game. The only thing lacking on realism here is the ability to pick up a hitchhiker and take him back to a truck stop for a good old fashioned gob job. And get this, we've got amazing mod support from the community, boosting things like traffic density, interior attachments, or simply upping the graphical fidelity or the sounds. And yes, this can all be played in multiplayer, so your road rage can go full throttle. If you want a fully simulated truck with all the gears of retardation, be my guest, or you could go for the simple automatic and off you go. Once you throw in some tidy graphics, a day-night cycle, weather, beautiful landscapes and a real-life selection of radio stations to truck along to, you've got an absolute humdinger of a simulator here that everyone should play, and that even includes you first-person shooter sluts. Trust me, lads, this is a game for everyone. Taking our top spot is none other than Microsoft Flight Simulator. This franchise has been soaring the skies for over 40 years, and the latest iteration is an absolute masterpiece. Now we could wax lyrical and moisten our pants over the graphics, which for me is the best looking game to come out in the last few years. Even today, I don't think it's been topped. The amazing graphics are matched by an incredible weather system that pulls in real world metadata. Imagine this, a 1-1 replica of planet Earth. You can crash into your mother-in-law's house if you so wish, shouting manically at your screen, "Take that, you two-faced cow." Aircraft systems are fully simulated here, with external forces acting on the aircraft as they should, giving you a flying challenge like no other. You know all of that, of course, but you might still be thinking, Reggie, it looks good, yes, but also it looks a bit boring as you've got nothing to do other than just fly aimlessly about. Well, hold on to your knickers, my pedigree chum, because if you dig a little into the modding world, you'll find some incredible free mods that change the game entirely. For example, I recommend NeoFly, where you essentially create an airline company starting out with bush trips and building your way up to 747s doing long haul flights. Flight Simulator then has a knack for turning a game into a full-fledged hobby. Yes, I went and bought a yoke, but then I decided I needed the matching throttle. Oh well, I guess then I need a Tobii eye tracker. What about adding an iPad just for weather systems, or a subscription to Navigraphs for real world positional data and all the airport info? Maybe a proper headset to converse on VATSIM and communicate with air traffic controllers. Flight pedals, they won't hurt either. If all that seems like madness to you, then I get it. I was that person too, but what really astounds me is the technology in streaming data to your computer, which then decodes it and builds the world around you for that one-to-one scale. It makes you think, what if a space game took a similar approach here, where petabytes of data exist elsewhere and your computer pulls in what's needed to recreate the planets? The technology and possibilities here are endless, ridiculous. And whilst we all cream our pants of what Star Citizen's technology could bring, people overlook and dismiss the flight sim tech, which is already up and running across PCs the world over. Then you throw in top-notch support in the form of world updates, city updates, and free licensed movie tie-ins like Dune or Top Gun, and you have an absolute stunning showcase of gaming technology that represents the very essence of what a simulator should be. And here's the best bit: if you're still unconvinced, just wait until Flight Simulator 2024 is released in November this year. It's set to add far more missions and a career mode to make this feel like a truly rounded game. I could keep going on, but you get the idea, people. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, Reggie out.